I'm here outside of Tombigbee Power, where just this month the company expanded their fiber internet service to some rural parts of Lee County. Now that expansion includes areas from Moorville to Carolina. Jesus Solis lives outside of Moorville. He said a good internet connection is rare.
If it rains or something like that, we don't have any service.
Destiny Ward said she lives on a back road in rural Lee County and also has trouble with the stable internet connection.
I mean, yesterday it wasn't because we had this thunderstorm, and then the internet started acting up.
There's good news for Ward, Solis, and other people in their situation. Tombigbee Fiber will expand their fiber internet service to the rural areas on this map. Solis said he's glad the company is expanding to rural areas because reliable internet is not a want but a need for his family.
Especially since my wife works at home and she needs a good internet service to do her things. So I think it's going to be a blessing for us, especially now that kids do a lot of homework and stuff in house.
If you live in one of the expansion areas, you can call and sign up for the service, and installation should start 3 to 4 weeks after you sign up. In Lee County, Brianna Bynum, WTVA 9 News.
Voters in Chickasaw County will go back to the polls tomorrow for a runoff election. Voters have to decide between Robert Andy Harmon and current interim coroner Larry Harris. Only 114 votes separated the two in the last election, but neither candidate had that 50% majority, which is key. Harris has served as the interim coroner since July when the previous coroner resigned.
I'd like to thank the Chickasaw County Board of Supervisors for entrusting me in being the interim coroner for the last 4 months. But as you know, that's not up to me, that's up to the voters. The voters have the chance to come out tomorrow and vote their minds.
I've got 20 years experience as serving as chief medical examiner for the county, and I want to uphold the trust that the public gave me over the years and support the families, at the time of the need, and be the spokesman for the ones that can't speak for themselves.
This is a countywide election. Voters must report to their regular polling places, such as the one that they use during a presidential election. Today, State Auditor Shad White announced the arrest of Jones County District 5 Supervisor Traveris Camayes. The local grand jury indicted him for embezzlement. A $5,000 demand was presented to Camayes. There we go, Camayes. When he was arrested, the state office accused Camayes of using a county-issued vehicle and cell phone to operate a beauty supply business for his own personal benefit from July of 2020 to April 2021. He allegedly also used his county-owned vehicle, traveling to multiple salons and barbershops outside of Jones County and on a trip to the New Orleans airport. If he is convicted on all counts, Camayes faces up to 10 years in prison with $5,000 in fines. The Oktibbeha County Starkville Police Department is encouraging you, if you see something, to say something. This after someone stole a firearm. Starkville Police said that a vigilant citizen noticed this firearm just laying in the grass while out on a walk. Police said this definitely prevented a child from finding it. You see something, say something. In Monroe County, the Sheriff's Department wants to remind you to lock your vehicles, especially at night. Sheriff Kevin Crooks said his department had another round of car break-ins last week, but once again, none of the vehicles burglarized had locked doors. So make sure you lock up. Thanksgiving travel sparking COVID worries across the country and here in Mississippi. State health leaders said effective herd immunity just isn't possible with Mississippi's current vaccination rates.
So contagious that, to really reach basically herd immunity, and I just almost hate saying that word, to a level that sort of will suppress outbreaks, I think is the goal. We really have like 90+% of folks immune, and we're just not there.
Dobbs said the state needs at least 90% of the population vaccinated to reach herd immunity. In Monroe County, some folks will get the chance to get a coronavirus vaccine and watch a parade at the same time. The city of Aberdeen will give out vaccines at the Christmas parade on December 7th. This is in an effort to get more people vaccinated, but the city is urging you not to wait. It's suggested that you go to your local Walgreens or your local healthcare provider right now to get your vaccine. So we just started Thanksgiving week. State health leaders are pretty concerned there could be another rise in COVID cases. The state reported 1,187 cases. This is from Friday through Sunday, so that's a 3-day time period. On average, it's about 395 cases a day, which is up just a little bit. The state reported 11 deaths, including 1 in Lafayette County. And being in a pandemic for an entire year is taking a toll on all of us here in the U.S. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, 2021 has surpassed last year's number of COVID deaths. In total, more than 770,000 people in the U.S. have died from the coronavirus. This year's numbers are about 100 greater than last year's total. Experts attribute these higher numbers to low vaccination rates and the Delta variant. Cases and hospitalizations are on the rise again in places like New England and the Midwest, as the national 7-day average number of cases reaches 90,000 a day. Still ahead, closing arguments started today in the case of 3 men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery. The statements from the prosecution and defense coming up. And today marks the anniversary of a tragic death in U.S. government history. This story and much more when we return. I'm here, right? Okay. Okay.
You're watching WTVA 9 News with anchors Craig Ford and Emily Leonard and Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Emily Leonard. Craig Ford is on assignment tonight. Today, closing arguments started in the trial of 3 men accused in the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, with both sides given their final chance to convince the jury. Morgan Norwood has the latest from Georgia.
After weeks of hearing testimony from more than 20 witnesses, jurors in the case of the 3 white men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery, an unarmed black man, now listening to attorneys make their closing arguments. The prosecution wrapping up their case, telling jurors Ahmaud Arbery was targeted because of his race.
And they made their decision to attack Ahmaud Arbery in their driveways because he was a black man running down the street.
Travis McMichael, his father Gregory, and William Roddy Bryan Jr. are accused of chasing down and murdering Ahmaud Arbery as he was jogging through their neighborhood. All three men have pleaded not guilty. The attorney for Travis McMichael telling the panel the shooting happened out of self-defense and that the killing was justified under a citizen's arrest law in Georgia that's since been repealed. The defense painting a picture of a neighborhood riddled with crime and the McMichaels as its protectors.
And he's scared. And so he's done what he thinks the law allows him to do, which is to try to de-escalate that approach by showing force. Showing force necessary to prevent Travis himself or his father from getting beaten and possibly killed.
But prosecutors say the defendant's assumptions that Arbery was a thief were wrong and that he didn't take anything, unlike the others who were seen wandering in this same neighborhood without alarm.
Nothing actually has to be stolen. You just have to enter with the intent to steal something.
This was not a citizen's arrest. Wanting to question Ahmaud demonstrates uncertainty. Hey, where are you coming from? They don't know where he's coming from. What are you doing? They don't know what he's doing.
And closing arguments are set to take most of the day, with the jury getting their final instructions along with a list of charges. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Brunswick, Georgia.
Across Mississippi, one coastal city is trying to get more residents to sign up for the new emergency alert system. Ocean Springs added the new Code Red system back in September, but fewer than 2,000 people signed up. The Mississippi Press newspaper reports that the system is automated emergency notification service, and it lets the city send phone calls, text, and emails, as well as posts to social media to alert the residents. It also has a weather warning system that automatically notifies people of tornadoes, flash floods, and severe thunderstorm warnings. In Philadelphia today, a $50,000 reward is being offered for the arrest of the gunman who shot and killed a pregnant woman and her unborn child after she returned home from a baby shower this weekend. The woman, identified by police as 32-year-old Jessica Covington, was just steps away from her home around 8:30 Saturday night when a gunman opened fire. Covington, who was 7 months pregnant, was shot in the head and stomach. Covington was rushed to Einstein Medical Center, where she and her unborn child were pronounced dead just moments later. Neighbors say Covington was returning from her baby shower and unloading gifts from her car at the time of the shooting. And this day in history, 58 years ago, the world was stunned after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The Dealey Plaza in Dallas today, more people than usual turned out to see the location where that tragedy happened. In recent weeks, scores of QAnon believers have descended on the plaza in hopes that JFK Jr. would appear. Then began a chain of events that would lead to the reinstatement of Donald Trump as president. Two security guards who were injured during the deadly Travis Scott Astroworld Festival have filed a lawsuit. Samuel and Jackson Bush, an uncle and nephew who worked security during that event, made the announcement today at a press conference in front of NRG Park, where the concert was held. According to his attorney, Samuel broke his right hand and injured his back as the crowd got out of control. Jackson Bush said that he suffered shoulder and back pain as well as emotional trauma as he watched CPR being performed on concert goers. According to his attorney, Jackson pulled a deceased concert goer out of the crowd. 10 people died at that concert and many more were injured that night. Still ahead on the news at 5, it was clear, it was cool. Not a bad fall Monday to kick off our Thanksgiving week. It's 56 degrees outside right now. Our chief meteorologist, Matt Lawpon, will join us in just 2 minutes with a complete look at our forecast. And then later, a furniture manufacturer with a few local facilities is hiring new workers. If you love making things, well, you're going to want to hear more about this and our skill to work.
Cold. Back to you. I did not, but okay. Okay. Thank you. I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and obey the Scout law. To help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Now, your WTVA Severe Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Matt Laubach.
Definitely a cold and brisk day to start off our week. Kind of got you going this morning.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's a little harder to get going when it's chilly like this. It certainly was a lot cooler. I mean, look at these temperatures versus yesterday at this exact moment in the neighborhood of a 15 to almost 20 degrees cooler than we were 24 hours ago. Of course, we had that front move through 24 hours ago, and we had all the showers associated with that. But yeah, everybody a lot cooler, and that's not even factoring the wind component that had it feeling even chillier than that much of the day. I mean, we're only 48 degrees right now at Tupelo Regional Airport. Measure of moisture, the dew point, only 22. That's some pretty dry air. It's one of the things that's going to help these temperatures to get rather cool over the next 24 hours or so, next couple of mornings. Fairly chilly once again as we get a little closer to the Thanksgiving holiday. More on that forecast here in just a moment. Hour by hour forecast has us to around 42 degrees by 8 p.m. We'll be 38 by 9, 37 as we look toward 10 o'clock and down into, for most of us, the low 30s for tomorrow morning. There will be some upper 20s out there, so rather chilly start to the day, obviously. We'll go 53 by noontime, 56 for tomorrow afternoon. Less wind. And just in that regard alone, making a difference to make it feel substantially warmer than we were for today under those mostly sunny skies. And really the next couple of days were fairly dry as we wait on our next storm system to approach us. On the kind of wider perspective here, high pressure, that's what's kind of building in with the drier air as our most recent front. And really kind of two fronts associated with that. They've now swept off the east coast and moving away from us. So this is our next system, still Pacific Northwest right now. So it will get more rainfall chances with it as it gets closer. We're timing that out to actually arrive on your Thanksgiving Day holiday. The timing of those showers, and there will be some showers and thunderstorms with it, probably midday in the afternoon, the most likely time frame as of now. We'll look at the kind of the beginnings of that with Storm Tracker here in a minute. But first, before that, a lot of this week is going to be pretty nice, though obviously rather chilly for tonight. One of those examples. Still those northerly winds about 4 miles per hour makes that 38 degrees we're going to be as of 9 p.m. Still feel like probably mid-30s. So if you do have to venture out this evening, much like today, jacket making a difference. Gloves certainly couldn't hurt if you have to be outside for any extended period of time because that wind chill for exposed skins obviously going to be a little bit cool. For tomorrow morning, we'll be down in the low 30s by tomorrow morning. Wind chill temperatures with very little wind movement. They're going to be about the same as the actual temperature, so somewhere around the 30-degree point for a lot of spots tomorrow morning, what it will feel like there. And those city-by-city temperatures for tomorrow morning, we'll say on the warmest end, freezing point. Most of us, it's going to be down just a little bit below that. By 7 a.m., we're already starting to see that temperature kind of spike up just a little bit. And we warm fairly quickly. We'll be to around 53 by noontime on some very, very light easterly winds. You can tell they're light because you don't even really notice the dots showing up there that represent that wind motion as we're fairly calm even for tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures for tomorrow. Typically for this time of year, we should be about 62. We're going to be about 55 for Corinth, 54 for Iuka, 53 Red Bay, 60 though for Kosciuszko and Louisville coming about 60, 57 Bruce, and 58 for both Ware and Grenada. As we go into tomorrow evening, we'll be 48 by around 7 p.m. And once again, another chilly start for the first part of early Wednesday morning. Mid to low 30s for morning lows, maybe a couple of clouds. That's one of the things that could hold those temperatures ever so slightly warmer. Now, as we go through the day, we'll be 58, so even warmer by noontime. Notice those dots showing up. That represents those winds. They're back and fairly breezy by midday on Wednesday into Wednesday afternoon. 62, what we're going for that high temperature on Wednesday. And those winds, they're going to be fairly gusty and nothing's over the top, but fairly widespread wind speeds in that 15 to 20 mile per hour range as we go toward your Wednesday afternoon. But we're still dry. despite the cloud cover for Wednesday. Now by Wednesday night, I think we're going to be about 53 degrees. And as we look toward the first part of Thanksgiving, we're probably dry initially there in the morning, more mild than we've been much of this week at about 44 degrees. But those winds remain somewhat gusty out of the south and east. That blue line coming in up there from Corinth toward Ripley and Oxford, that is going to be the initiation point, the front that's going to bring us the rainfall chances and thunderstorms. Our high resolution projections run out as we go toward noontime. As you can see, already starting to intercept some of the area, and we expect that coverage to increase as far as rainfall and thunderstorms are concerned into the latter part of the day as well. We'll look at kind of lower resolution version of Storm Tracker coming up at 6 o'clock and kind of look at some of those rainfall totals we could see. So next couple days, we're building temperatures beyond tomorrow morning's chilly start. We'll be at 62 by Wednesday, upper 50s for your Thanksgiving Day, 50% on that rain coverage as those showers and thunderstorms move in. And behind that front, as has been the case recently, it's kind of one and done, as we'll have the temperatures dropping back to near the freezing point for both Friday and Saturday mornings as we finish up this work week with a, or shortened work week. I guess the Monday through Friday portion of it dry on Friday and into next weekend as well, so for some of those shoppers looking ahead. But of course, Emily, it figures on the holiday itself, be thinking about the indoor plans because Thanksgiving is going to be certainly wet, at least for part of the day for most of us.
All right. Thank you, Matt.